This is IGN. Mental gymnastics. This is your IGN review of Spider-Man Brand New Day by Tom Jorgensen. Tom Holland's run as Spider-Man has been nothing if not consistent. 3 solo MCU outings and 3 supporting appearances leading up to and including Avengers Endgame have shown Marvel Studios and the Russo brothers struck gold in casting Holland back in Captain America Civil War, identifying a guy who has scant few detractors out there thanks to how well he's able to embody both Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Peter's struggle to find balance between those poles, as it so often does with Spidey, proves to be the main thrust of Spider-Man Brand New Day. After Shang-Chi and Wonder Man, director Destin Daniel Cretton scores a hat trick by keeping the next chapter of Peter's journey a lot more restrained than his latter cosmically charged outings, even with telepathic threats and organic web fluid oozing from his wrists in play. Right out of the gate, it must be said that, as Spidey's first MCU movie set almost entirely within Manhattan, it's real good to have New York City so front and center in Brand New Day's action. It's part of a more focused mission statement for the movie that Cretton makes immediately in the opening montage, a swing and punch medley, which covers the last few years of Peter's lonely life in a world that has completely forgotten who he is, thanks to Doctor Strange's spell at the end of No Way Home. There's not quite enough that sets apart Brand New Day's drama of struggling to serve dual identities from previous Spider-Man movies, and so Holland doesn't have room to break into new territory with the character. While MJ's function to the plot doesn't amount to much more than being a weakness of Peter's for Sadie Sink's antagonist to exploit, Zendaya does make space for herself to refine MJ's established mix of acerbic wit and empathy for others into what feels like a real progression for the character. There's a fullness to how MJ embraces the odd circumstances that come with Peter's return into her life, and Zendaya does a great job servicing the nuances of that in her scenes with Holland. You know, those two, they've got some chemistry. Don't know if you've heard. Following John Watts' work on the Home trilogy, Destin Daniel Cretton handles the passing of the directorial torch well. Brand New Day tends towards being a little on the nose with some of its musings on evolution and identity, but if Cretton paints with a broad brush, at least his lines are clean. The director's proven instincts for acrobatic action keep Brand New Day similarly light on its feet. This is as Spider-Man as Tom Holland's Spidey has ever felt in combat, not just thanks to the increased level of his abilities, but in how precisely Cretton moves the camera to capture all that spectacle. And yes, Spidey does some Insomniac-coded stuff during the fights. And yes, it's cool to see a well-loved adaptation of the character from a different medium getting a knuckle bump from the big dogs at Marvel Studios in that way. Though Brand New Day occasionally fumbles the execution of how it pushes forward some of the more minor elements of the larger MCU tapestry, it does a pretty solid job of keeping the amount of homework it has to do setting up future franchise entries to a respectable minimum. The new elements established, thunderclouds on the horizon, are both relevant and removed enough from Peter's focus here as to not distract from the conflict at hand. Whether all that's expressly in service of the character or because Avengers Doomsday is right around the corner and there's nothing for Spider-Man to do about such massive threats right now, Spider-Man Brand New Day's smaller scope is a welcome change of pace after a string of high-concept adventures. It's almost like Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Brand New Day sees Destin Daniel Cretton effectively refocus on the sturdiest pillars of the web-slinger's iconography, struggling to find balance while swinging around New York City saving the day and looking dang cool doing it. There's more than a little deja vu going on with a lot of Peter's inner turmoil, and that does sometimes leave the brand new day of the title feeling like Groundhog Day. But overall, it's a refreshingly small-scale ride that gives Tom Holland, Zendaya, Sadie Sink, and the rest of the cast, a wasted Tremel Tillman aside, at least a few moments each to shine. Spider-Man Brand New Day's IGN score? 7 out of 10. Thanks for listening to IGN. My name is Tony Jackson, and for the latest updates on Spider-Man Brand New Day, visit us at IGN.com.
Spoken Layer.